So yeah, the patch just dropped earlier today, and obviously everybody's looking at the PvP, everybody's looking at the housing system, and all that sounds really good and it looks really cool. But I wanted to do like a bit of a talk through about all the other changes which have been nerfed, which there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. It's not just the gems. Obviously the gems are the big thing they were talking about. There's lots of other enchantments that are still that have also been nerfed, but some of them haven't been touched. So I wanted to kind of quickly go through some of the main stuff, but yeah, I mean obviously the gems, so these have all been halved. Pretty much every single gem in the game has been halved. That is to do with enchantment power. So yeah, low life used to be 100%, it is now 50%. The lower tier version used to be 80%, that is now 40%. And the focus gems have had similar treatment as well. So they used to be 75, I think it was. They are now 40%. So that alone has made a massive difference to just the damage numbers in general. But there's more than that to it as well. One of the first things I noticed straight away was also crit chance. So crit chance has been halved everywhere. So pretty much if you had 10% crit chance, you've now got 5% crit chance on an item. If it's been exalted, it still keeps that exalt though. So here, mine was 12%, it's gone down to 6. So it's still exalted, but yeah, it's been cut in half. Armor pen, that's been cut down by a third pretty much. I think it was 15%, now it's 10%. So this has been exalted a few times here, so that's why it's 16. But so what does that mean? Well, basically, I thought they were just going to do the gem nerf, but it's not just the gems. There's a bunch of stats that have been nerfed, and those are the main ones. Crit chance, armor pen, the damage numbers as well. Lightning damage has been halved, so anything to do with elemental damage has been halved. But physical damage has not been halved. And I don't know if I have any gear here with physical damage, but I have a piece in my base which is 9% without any exalts. So physical damage is still able to get to 10%. Which I think is a really good idea because physical doesn't have a like a side benefit to it. So now the benefit is you get more raw damage. So that's pretty cool. One stat here, focus cost reduced after damage dealt on rune attacks. So let's have a look at this because there's a couple of these that have been nerfed as well. So this one here now goes to 20%. I think it always was 20% anyway. I'm pretty sure it might have been. Because before you could get it to 20%, and then exalting would take it to 40%. And then you could double it off the low life gem. Well, now you can't do that. Because now you can only get 50% as a boost. So let's say you get 4 here to get it to 40%. So the max potential here is 60% rune cost reduced, which is still really good to be fair. And probably still too strong, but you've got to get 4 exalts in here, which isn't impossible with a blue. But again, this one's not been touched, but the one that has been touched is focus on fatality. So I've got a few here, right? So look at this here. This used to go to 25. So you could get a kill and get 25 focus on fatality, which was ridiculous because if you exalted it, you could get it to like, you know, 35. Then double it with the enchantment gem. Well, you can't do that now because max 15 is a lot lower. And then the max you can get is a 50% boost as well. So the max you can get on kill fatality is what? 50% of that, so it's like 22, 23 at base. But if you get 3 exalts into it, the fatality goes to 30%. 30 focus on kill on a fatality, which can be boosted by 50%, which is 15. So the maximum focus you can get on a kill now is 45, straight off the weapon. So that is a big nerf there. So I think it's almost impossible now to do the rune spam tech without the rings, which I'll talk about in a bit. But those are some of the key stats straight away that I noticed that have been nerfed. So what does that kind of overall mean? Well, it means that mages are still really strong because you can still spam runes with the legendary rings. So without that, you can't really do the focus spam tech anywhere near as easily now. So there's people who've got mage who've been mentioning in chat, they've got like Armageddon, Plague Spatter, that kind of stuff. Running around doing a 150 rune cost attack and doing that constantly just isn't going to work now. I think anything that's like 100 cost rune or more is going to be pretty impossible just to spam now. Without the rings, obviously. I'm not talking about the rings because they're still busted. So, for example, the Fire Mage build I did, where straight after this patch, that one will need reworking. The best way I think to do mages now is by doing, obviously using legendary rings, but putting that aside, is the focus gain tech. So focus gain on durability still works really well. The durability tech, still very good. So here, you can I've still got 75 durability on enchantment, and the facet still gives you 75 as well. So the durability stuff is still very strong for healing, the focus gain on the helmet for stamina recovery. So that's survived the patch. But there's a couple of other things that have been nerfed defensively. So the resist on chests, that's been nerfed. It's gone down to 10%. And I think there's a cap as well, but I don't know much about that. So the damage resist has been nerfed on chest. So you can't be invincible anymore, which is really good. I still wonder if it's too strong though, because the durability is still insanely high on these pieces. Like, I could get this chest to 250, 10% of that is 25%, so it's still high. And I do wonder if they need to potentially still nerf that further for the on-durability damage resist on chest. But that's one thing for the chest. That's kind of been reduced defensively. But another thing that's been massively nerfed is barrier. So I did a Raiden build, which is a Raiden barrier build, and a lot of people were asking me about that, like, what's the best way to build it? Well, now barrier isn't quite dead, but it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. This build here is actually using barrier quite well. So barrier on kill got nerfed as well. Barrier on kill used to be base 25 barrier, 25%, right? So they've changed it. Barrier no longer is based on a percentage of your health. So before you used to be able to get like, 300%, 400% barrier, right? Well, they've changed it so it's a flat value now. So rather than like, oh, I've got 1,000 health, so if I have 200, 300% of my health as barrier, it was based on your health. Well, now they've completely changed it and it's a flat value. So barrier, I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's very, very difficult to build around now, which is a good thing. I think before it was broken, but with this change, it does mean barrier builds solely where you just kind of leave your defense to whatever you want and just do barrier. That's not going to work anymore. Barrier now is kind of good on this build. I get to barrier about here on this build because, same as what I mentioned with crit chance, I've got a lower base barrier because, instead of 25% of my health, I get 30 here, which is not really that good. But the gems don't boost it as much. So, because of the gem nerf, the 50% nerf is more than 50%. What you got to think about is, this stat here gets boosted by 50% and then gets boosted again by this one. So before, I was doubling this stat here, then getting the barrier gain here doubled as well. So it was like a double going on. Well, now it's only 50% here, then this gets boosted by 50% as well. So it's not a 50% nerf, it's a more than 50% nerf to the boost. Not looking at the fact that they've changed it from a percentage to a flat value. So barrier can still be good. So here I get 50% of this, that's 45 barrier on kill. Here, this is around about 70%. 70% of 45, what's that? Let's say it's 30, 35. I get about 70 to 80 barrier, so I do get around about here on kill, which is pretty good. So it's not completely dead, it's just not busted. What is completely dead, I think, is, I don't know if I've got any gear here with it. But two things that are dead is barrier on dodge and barrier on food. I don't have any examples here, but barrier on the pants used to be 10% of your health. It is now at 10 health. Yeah, it's the same as this. So they've changed it from a percentage to a flat value. So yeah, you're going to get 10 health for dodging. So good luck. It's not worth it anymore. And then the helmet you get 15, I think. Obviously you can boost it, but by far and away I think the only good way to do barrier now is barrier on kill. It's the only one that's kind of decent, because you can get it to 50 and then you can boost it again. You can get it to like 100 if you really give it the beans and get good rolls, but yeah, barrier on kill is the only one that's worth it in my opinion now. Barrier on food is only good if you're running the gem in the weapon to have a boost based on barrier. That's the only time it's good, in my opinion. For example, the Shadow Fist build I did, I've got a barrier boost here in the gem slot. So the gem says that if I have a barrier, I get X percentage boost of enchantment power. So I pop a barrier with my food, I get like 5 health. Okay. The plan is I don't get hit. As long as I've got that 5 barrier, I get a boost. So I don't think barrier on food is very good. I think they might want to buff that a bit, I don't know. In my opinion, it's probably good that it's not that good, but I think they might buff it because it's kind of useless now. Unless there is obviously the potential that as we level up, we get better gear. So when we get to level 60, all these stats might double. I don't know. Hopefully not. I kind of like this patch a lot, which I'm going to talk about at the end. So that's a few stats. So yeah, attack-wise, you know, armor pen is a third less. Crit chance, a third less. Half, sorry. Crit damage, I think, on weapons is the same. Let me have a look. Oh no, it's been halved as well, I think. Let's have a look here. So, if I go to this one here. Yeah. 10%. The crit damage has been halved. There you go. 11 barrier on kill. 12 barrier on kill. I don't think I've got any of the barrier on kill stuff. 2% fire damage. You know. A lot of the broken stuff has been nerfed. I'm surprised to not nerf this focus cost though a bit. I think this could have been halved, but you know what? I'm really happy with what they've done. I think it's made it a lot better. I think that's all the key stats anyway. One thing to note is like stuff like attack speed, that's been left. All the durability stuff's left, so you can still get that nice attack speed boost. What you're going to find of all this is that your damage numbers are going to be like 30% of what they used to be. Maybe even 20% in some cases. It depends what you add spec in. For example, on this build, I have max focus reduced. And I was getting here about 97% of my focus reduced, which works really well for this build. But the enchantment power gems have been nerfed. So now I don't get the same negative here because these get boosted by the negatives as well. These gems boost the negatives, don't they? So if you've done a low life build, you're going to need to do what I'm going to do. Which is here, I've got 18% here, 18% here. I'm going to need to get some more to get to half health. Right now, I can go above half health. Yeah, that's above half health, yeah. Because again, this was 100%. That's gone down a lot. So that does need to be considered. And yeah, those are the key stats, I think. And apart from that, I think pretty much everything else is roughly the same. Looking here, yeah. Overall speed is, I think lightning damage is going to be really, really good actually. I think it's going to be very good. I think shock build-up could be good on some builds as well, and plague build-up. Because the damage is a lot lower, you're going to need to get build-up. The problem with some builds is going to be, if you're massively spec'd into damage before, you're not going to one-hit stuff now. So you're going to need defensive stuff. You're going to need armor, you're going to need resistances, more health. So I'm going to have to look at all my builds pretty much and redo them, which is good. I'm kind of happy about that personally. But, so pretty happy with that. But overall, I think that's covered the main stats. I think I do think that they might have overdone it on some of the stats, but to be honest with you, I'd rather they do that. I'd rather they just literally cut a lot of these broken builds, and I think, in my opinion, from what I've played so far, it's a really, really good patch. Because the game's gone from being like Diablo and PoE to actually being a bit of a challenge now. I've not been able to properly test it with any builds fixed or anything like that or changed, but yeah, I would say definitely come back and do a couple of builds and try it. It's going to be a lot more difficult. I'm going to be redoing some of the builds that I kind of really want to play on the channel. I'll talk through a bit of what I think could help your current build. A couple of other things to note as well while I'm on the bow. Yeah, bow range has been nerfed as well, so you can see it drops off a bit. It's not massive though. I can still kind of shoot across the map, but I would say bows feel very good. It's just you get about 30 to 40% damage nerf at long range, which, yeah, to be honest with you, they're still very, very strong, especially this build. So anything that's utilizing like stamina tech to have infinite stamina still works the same. So this works very similar. You're just gonna have to rebalance your gem stuff to get where you need to be, but yeah, I think that covers the main stats really. I might do, you know what I might do in the description below in the video? I might do like a little list of stuff that's been nerfed, the key stats, just so people can see, because I will timestamp the video as well, but I might do a list at the bottom, just sort of saying this one's been nerfed, this one's been nerfed, so people can see it there. But I am really hoping the next thing on the list is these. The 3 rings of power. These 3 rings here are the answer to all your problems. If you want just an easy life, you want to turn it into Diablo, don't break into my house and raid my chest, please, but get these 3 rings, because these 3 rings are still busted. I think they've changed this one. Sure, they've added this healing on here, I'm not sure. But spend health instead of focus. Yeah. If you're a mage, don't worry about the healing reduced, because you're doing thousands of damage still. So if you do 10,000 damage still, you're going to get insane lifesteal. So this one's insane. This one, swap health for max focus. Well, what do? Stack your focus stacks, get to 1,000 focus or whatever. Then spend health instead of focus. So you get 1,000 focus. Swap the health around with focus, so you've got 1,000 health. Spend health instead of focus. That's what a lot of people are doing with builds. I don't use these because I think they're silly. And I don't want to play Diablo. Right now, if I wanted to play Diablo, I'll go play Diablo, but these are the Diablo rings. But yeah, that's what you could do. But if you really want to be insanely broken, just run this. Spend health if there's not enough focus available. Insanely good as well. I mean, this ring, yeah, this ring's actually probably something you should run regardless, but yeah, this ring's super good, even by itself, so. I really hope they just change these rings to something else. Like, I think focus, you've got to be really careful with focus. But this is my thinking. These devs have made some really good changes here. They've been really bold changes to the gear to make it more difficult. And I think it's really, really good. But why would you do all these nerfs and leave these rings like this? So I think it's a matter of time until these rings get nerfed. Because they know these rings are in the game, right? And they've just literally killed, well, not killed the builds. I'm kind of being dramatic there, but they kind of have made builds not function the same with focus spam and all that sort of stuff. But I think these rings, they're kind of like a early access thing. They're probably going to leave them in for early access, but I imagine they will go for full release because of the nerfs that they've done. And I said that the next patch, I said this actually a while ago, in December, the next patch will tell us what they're going to do with the game. They got a lot of feedback and changed the beta for the release of Together, and I think it took a step back, but I think this is such a big step in the right direction. Massive props to the devs on this, I think. Like, such a good change. Now we're going to have to play the game. Unless you use these rings, which is basically cheating, so don't do that. You're going to have to play the game now, and so am I, so I'm looking forward to it. So the no echo runs are going to be very difficult to do, I think, on a lot of builds. Not all the builds. I still think 3 Shadow is going to be insanely strong. Mages, bows. But I think melee builds, the game's going to be a lot more fun. So, looking forward to it. Like I said, if I've missed something, I'll list it below and I'll do a list. I'll timestamp the video, but that about covers most of the stats. Damage is down a lot, and you're no longer invincible, unless you run a Great Shield, maybe. So, very happy with the patch, and yeah, I'm going to have some more videos sort of going through some builds and what you can do to fix your build. And let's see, hopefully we all die a lot more, that'll be great. But yes, I will have some build videos up over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for those. And I will see you in the next videos.